Good day, grade 12 learners. Welcome to today's tourism lesson. I'm Mr. Samuel Innocent Luyanda Mkonini, one of the tourism teachers in Ekurhuleni South. This lesson is brought to you by Gauteng Department of Education in collaboration with Sibona Discovery Center and broadcast by Pagama Research and Development. Right. Today we are going to be looking at the factors that contribute to the success of a tourism attraction. For the past 2 weeks, we've been dealing with all the 14 icons that we have. And now we are moving to another chapter that is still part of the icons. We are going to be looking at the factors that contribute to the success of a tourism attraction. I hope there at home you have a pen and paper with you so that you can jot down the additional information that you're going to be getting today. We will also be expecting some of your questions on our WhatsApp line 079-578-2908. Please send us those questions so that we can be able to respond to you. Right, let's move. This is still part of your question 4 of your tourism papers under tourism attractions and icons. But today's focus is on the factors that contribute to the success of a tourist attraction. My sources are from Via Africa, Tourism Grade 12 Learners Book, Focus Tourism Grade 12 Learners Book, and also Oxford Successful Tourism Grade 12 Learners Book. And some of my questions or activities are from the previous GDE papers that we have dealt with. So today we are also going to be focusing more on the questions that we are going to be dealing with. Right, let's move. What is going to be our lesson objectives for today? We said we're going to be focusing on the factors that contribute to the success of a tourist attraction. Meaning, if you're going to be looking at the factors that contribute to the success of a tourist attraction, it means that there are also some attractions that are not successful, right? After that, you're going to be looking at the characteristics of successful tourist attraction and also look at so many activities for expansion. Let's move. Let's just go back a bit to our first lesson that we had when we were discussing what are attractions. We first said that attractions are places that tourists like to visit. And we also said they are places that tourists are willing to travel to. Places that tourists are willing to travel long distances to see and will remember for a very long time. Hence, we are saying we're going to be dealing with factors. So if you want your attraction to be successful and if you want your people your tourists to travel to attraction, you need to make sure that as the manager and tourism attraction, the following factors that are going to be dealing with, they are there available by your attraction. Why? Because you are saying that attractions are places that tourists are willing to travel long distance to see and will remember for a very long time. So if you are not a successful attraction, then tourists will not visit you again. We also said an attraction is a place visited for historical significance, for cultural value, natural or man-made beauty, or entertainment opportunity. So people do not just visit an attraction, but they visit it for certain reasons. So now let's check. Since we said we are going to be looking at factors that contribute to a successful tourist attraction, let's first try to find out what do we mean? What is a successful tourist attraction? Number 1, these are just some of the traits that a successful tourism attraction has. Meaning, if you are a tourist attraction and you do not have the following characters or factors, then it means that you need to work out on your attraction. So what is a successful tourist attraction? The first point we are saying that particular attraction continues to do what? To attract tourists. So time and again, you are putting tourists to your attraction. Then when you are receiving tourists time and again during the week, over the weekends, over holidays, then we are saying you are a successful tourist attraction. The second point, we are saying that particular attraction does what? It gives enough information. Remember, we said that people will not just come to your attraction until you advertise, until you market, until you promote your attraction. Then that's how people will know about you. Then they will travel long distances to do what? To come and see that particular attraction. So a successful tourist attraction gives what? Enough information about what? About what's on offer on at that particular attraction. Point number 3, we are saying a successful attraction provides for the needs of the tourist. If one is coming for leisure, if one is coming for entertainment, if one is coming for adrenaline experience, you need to make sure that as a tourism attraction, you cater or you provide for all those needs of that particular tourist. Point 4, we are saying that particular attraction, for it to be successful, what must it do? It needs to meet the interest of the tourist. Meaning, whatever experiences that are catered or offered there for the tourists, they need to make the tourists do what? To be happy, to be wow about them. So you need to do what? To meet what? The interest of the tourists. Then that is another character of a successful tourist attraction. So if you are an attraction and then you do not have some of these traits or characters, then you need to go back to the drawing board so that we can be able to regroup and do new things so that we can be what? A successful tourist attraction. Right. Remember, we said that tourism ingredient, it requires what? Travel. It requires movement from one place to another. But movement, it is not only about transport. Yes, people first have to do what? To travel to your attraction. So another trait is that it is easily accessible. So once people have traveled using different modes of transport from wherever where they stay to the attraction, when they get there, they must not get challenges. So when we are talking about the easily accessibility, we are saying the attraction for it to be successful, it needs to be what? Easily, it must have easy access. Mobility, people must also not struggle to get there. On the internet, do you have recent up-to-date information in terms of the location? If people are getting lost, how will they get access to your place? Is it also accessible via different modes of transport, or people are going to be struggling? When they get there again, for example, those who have physical impairments, do they have wheelchair ramps when they get there? Are there rails for them, those who are maybe the elderly, so that they can be able to touch them as they are walking up the stairs? Those who cannot see, those who've got guided dogs and so on, will they be able to access your attraction? So these are some of the traits that are making an attraction to be what? To be a successful attraction. Number 1, we said it continues to attract tourists. Remember, in this context, an attraction, it is also what? A tourism business. And why will you have a business? So that you can be able to make what? Profit or a turnover. So if you are not continuing to attract tourists, then it means the business, in this context, our attraction or icon, is not a successful one. It must give what? Enough information. Tourists must not struggle, or else they will not come there. It needs to cater and provide for all the needs of the tourist. It must meet the interests of the tourist, and it must also be easily accessible. People must not struggle in terms of mobility when they get to the attraction. Then let's continue. How else can you say that you are a successful attraction? The successful attraction, it is well maintained. We are talking about here, we are talking about our gardening. From outside, on the first time when we step in, the gatherings must attract your tourists when they see. The place must be clean. Some of the facilities must be maintained time and again. Some of them, they must be painted time and again so that they can be appealing and attractive to an eye, right? So a successful tourist attraction, it is well maintained. We don't want to see graffiti on the walls when we visit your tourism attraction. Then we are also saying, remember, crime can also chase away your clients or your tourists, right? So a successful tourist attraction, it is very safe. So you need to make sure that as the manager of that particular attraction, you take safety into consideration. Tourists must not come to your place and then lose things. Tourists must not come to your place and then get mugged. Tourists must not come to your place and not feel safe. So you need to make sure that if you want your attraction to be successful, you have looked at what safety measures in place, safety and crime prevention measures in place. Right. Remember, we said in this context, an attraction, it is also what a tourism business. So, why would we have a business if you are not going to be charging a fee? So, a successful tourism attraction makes sure that they charge fees. What are we talking about? We are talking about fees for entrance fee. Remember, there are people who are employed there by the attraction. You need to pay the rates. Some of the facilities, maybe in a big theme parks, they need to be maintained time and again. You need to buy oil and so on and so on. The gardens needs to be maintained. Some of the facilities needs to be painted. You need to pay rent. So the successful attraction charges what? A fee, so that people can be able to generate what? Income from the tourists. So people cannot just enter there for free, or else you will not be a successful attraction. It also not only attracts the locals but also international tourists. So when people from outside or from tourism regions, when they visit that particular attraction, they need to say, yo, that particular attraction, it is a must-see attraction. I need to go and see it, right? Another important trait is that a successful tourism attraction, it is attractive, right? It has to be attractive and inviting. So we cannot come to an attraction and when you get there, the grass is this big. When you get there, there's littering. When you get there, there's noise pollution. When you get there, things are not, people are just packed all over and all over and all over. So that's mass tourism. So that can be what? A problem. So a successful tourism attraction has to be attractive to an eye and has to be inviting to the tourists. Even when people have taken pictures, now when they come back with mementos, then when we see those pictures, we need to say, oh wow, one day I also want to go to that particular attraction. Then the last trait, how do you see a successful attraction? We are saying it continues to attract tourists. Time and again, the tourist numbers, they need to grow, maybe per quarter, per year, and so on. You analyze your tourist figures or the numbers time and again. And for it to be sustainable, we are saying all these factors, they need to be taken into consideration. So if an attraction is not doing any of this, then there is no way that we can say it is a successful tourist attraction. Let's just go back a bit. The first point, we said it continues to attract tourists. Number two, we said it gives what? Enough information to the tourists. Number three, we said it provides for the needs of the tourists. Number four, we said it meets the interests of the tourists. Whatever that this person, they were willing or wanting to experience, when they go there, they need to do what? To experience all those things. A successful tourism attraction, it is what? It is easily accessible. Then we are saying successful tourism attraction, it is well maintained, it is safe, charges a fee, it attracts both the local and international tourists, it is attractive and inviting to an eye, and above all, it continues to attract tourists. Right. So those are some of the traits in terms of if you want to compare. Mr. Ngonyini, what are we talking about when we are talking about a successful attraction? It has to have those elements. Moving to today's topic, remember we said we are going to be focusing on, let me just go back a bit, factors. Yes, We said we are going to be looking at factors that contribute to the success of a tourism attraction. Now we have a hint or an idea in terms of what is a successful attraction. So now I'm going to be looking at the 8 factors that contribute to the success of a tourism attraction. So I'm going to try by all means to explain each of those factors. Let's look at factor number 1. The first factor that we are talking about, we are saying it is excellent marketing, right? We did this in tourism grade 10 when we spoke about marketing. If you don't know what is marketing, then the first factor for an attraction to be successful, we are saying excellent marketing of the tourism product. And in this context, what is our product? Our product in this context, it is our tourist icon or attraction. Right. So our product in this context, it is the tourist what? Icon or attraction. But we are saying the first factor that contributes, something that makes an attraction to be successful, it is what? Excellent marketing. So we are saying that attraction has to be marketed well, locally and or internationally. Then let's check now. How do we market that? I am saying here now, the success of any business depends on how it is marketed. Right. Remember, we did marketing in tourism grade 10, 4. You also did marketing in EMS grade 8 and 9. So this comes from there. And some learners that are doing business studies, you should know what is marketing. Now let's check what is marketing. It refers to all activities involved to get the product or service from the producer to the customer. In this context, in our context, what is our product? Our product, I said it is what? The tourism icon or attraction. So what is marketing? All activities that are involved to get the product until you say something about what you are selling, until you promote your product or your attraction, then people will not come to your attraction, right? Then, Mr. Nkonyeni, how can I market my attraction locally and internationally? Remember, in tourism, we also spoke about the 7 P's of marketing mix, right? The 7 P's of marketing mix. Some textbooks they are talking about 4, some textbooks they are talking about 5. But on those 7 P's of marketing mix, I'm only going to be focusing on the P, which stands for promotion. So for people to know about your attraction, remember here we are not saying marketing, but we are saying what? Excellent marketing. So if you need to do excellent marketing, you need to make sure that you have focused on those 7 P's of marketing mix. But the main one that you are going to be focusing on today, it is the P for promotion. So the attraction has to be promoted, right? Then how can I promote my attraction, Mr. Nkonyeni? You will remember that in grade 11, we spoke about 2 promotional techniques, meaning those are different channels or techniques that we can use to promote our tourism products and services. So how can we promote our attractions or icon? We can first either use above the line promotional technique or use the below the line promotional technique. Right. Let's just move so that we remind ourselves of what we did in grade 11. So what do you mean by above the line promotional technique? We are saying advertising and promotion forms an important part of marketing. Advertising and promotion. So your icon or your attraction has to be advertised, has to be promoted. And why are you doing this? You are making the public aware of what you are offering. Until they know about it, then that's when they will come. Unless you go and promote your attraction or advertise it, then you will not receive a high number of turnover, meaning you won't make profit, tourists will not come to your place, and so on. If people never heard about a particular hotel, for example, how will they be able to book their stay? They will not. So the same thing with our icons, our attractions, we need to make sure that we advertise and or promote them. Again, we are also saying when you're operating a tourism business, what is it that you want? You want all your potential customers to know about your business or the services and products that you offer. So that's why you need to use above the line promotional technique and also below the line promotional technique so that you can be able to advertise and promote what your tourism attraction. Remember, what is factor number one? Excellent marketing of the tourism attraction or product locally and or international. What can we do? We need to do what? Marketing. Right. Let's just remind ourselves of what we did in grade 11. When we are talking about above the line promotional technique, we are saying your icon can be promoted where? On your TV, right? So for adverts, time and again, if you can check the short left campaigns that we have, they're also advertising on TV and also on radio. So that's what we are talking about when we are saying you need to make sure that you advertise your icon, your attraction on TV. What else can I do? Buy a space, you rent a space on a newspaper article whereby you are only talking about what the icon, right? Or the attraction. Then whoever that is going to be buying that particular newspaper, when they read, and then they will get to see, oh, in this country we have this particular attraction. Maybe one day I'm going to do what? To go and travel to see it. In a travel magazine, right? You can also advertise your tourism icon where in a tourism travel magazine, right? We have them when you are boarding a flight, right? If you are advertising when you are busy giving those tourists who are boarding the flight, then when they are busy pitching, then they can be able to do what? To get to see your attraction on leaflet. Then you also have internet. On the internet, again, this is another platform that, remember now we have technology, right? This is another platform whereby your attraction can be advertised. Use an active website, create an active web page, and you need to make sure that on that particular website you put up-to-date information, right? Remember the reviews, they are very, very, very critical and also very important. People now in these days, they do what? They put their reviews. If they visit an attraction, then they go and post stuff on the internet. So this can also be dangerous for your business, but can also be a good thing to do what? To market your attraction, right? We also have billboards wherever where we go, on the roads, on the side of the roads, and so on the buses, and so on. You make sure that it is also advertised. Your attraction, it is also advertised. If you also want to reach a lot of people, you can also turn into radio, whereby you are marketing and promoting your tourism attraction. So these are some of the channels that we can use to do what? To do excellent marketing of the tourism attraction. I spoke about above the line. Let's just move to below the line, right? For below the line, you can also use your personal selling, right? Personal selling, obviously, this one can only be the person that has visited that attraction or someone that works there. You send your people out to go and promote your attraction. They can also do sales promotion. You can also do discount. When you are saying discount, be careful of this one, because remember, what is the aim of your business? You need to make profit. So for you to attract or to your market your attraction, you can use group discounts. Né? Not 50%. Maybe we are saying if you come in a group of 20, only 18 people pay. So that can be another thing to do what? To come and attract your or market your attraction. Also, remember tourism, it is also seasonal, right? It is also seasonal. In terms of seasonality of tourism, remember you've got off-peak season, and then you also have peak season. Off-peak, this is when many people are not traveling. So when many people are not traveling, this is a good opportunity for you to use what the group discounts or discount. Maybe you say 50% off during off peak. Then you know that you are going to attract what? Many tourists. We also have exhibitions or also some of the tourism trade shows and expos, right? We have tourism Indaba, for example, here in Africa that happens every year around May in KwaZulu-Natal. So for this one, you make sure that you have your leaflets, you've got your pamphlet, then you attend what? The tourism trade show, the tourism expos, so that you can be able to do what? To market and exhibit your tourism product. Then people will come there, take leaflets, and so on. The last one, which is very challenging, it is word of mouth advertising. If you give best experiences, if people when they come there to attraction and they enjoy, then you have offered them everything that you had claimed on your marketing tools that you have, then this one will cut you down in terms of word of mouth advertising, and it will cut the costs of you doing marketing. Word of mouth advertising, then if people came to a place and then they had good experience, then when they go back home, they will tell who their family and their loved ones and their friends would say, I've been to this certain attraction and I've experienced 1, 2, 3, 4. And when that happens, then this is how your attraction has been marketed, and then people will come. What is factor number 1? We said it is excellent marketing of tourism product locally and or international. That was factor number 1. Then I discussed with you different tools or channels that the tourism marketing manager in your icon or attraction can do in order for you to do what? To market your attraction internationally. Then we move to factor number 2. Factor number 2, we are saying for an attraction to be successful, it must do the following. It must have sustainable and responsible management plans. Remember, we said we are available there on our WhatsApp line 079 578 2908. There we are waiting for your questions so that we can be able to send, so that we can be able to interact with you. Just send us your questions there. So factor number 2 that contributes to the success of a tourism attraction, we are saying the attraction must have what? Sustainable and responsible management plan. Remember again, this is part of grade 10, the intern 3, when you're doing sustainable and responsible management. What are we talking about here, Mr. Nkuyini? We are saying responsible means the following: having the duty or job of dealing with or taking care of something or someone. One is able to be trusted to do what is right or to do the things that are expected or are required of them. This is just a smaller background of responsible. So what is this responsible tourism that we are talking about? We are saying it means to travel and do tourism businesses in such a way that you are taking care of the environment and the tourism industry, right? So that is what responsible tourism. You are taking care, when you do your travel and tourism, what do? You take care of the environment. Here, our main focus is on what? The natural environment. You do not litter, right? And also you take care of what? Of the tourism industry. By the attractions that you are visiting, you spend money wherever you are going. Then that is what responsible tourism. You do not harm the plants. You do not harm the wildlife animals. You do not litter. You don't walk on the grass. You don't pick up plants. Then that is all part of what? Of responsible tourism. Then you remember it goes with what? Sustainable tourism. When you are talking about sustainable tourism, it is all about you are looking after the resources that we have today so that tomorrow or in future we can also be able to have them. So you do not waste. So that is factor number 2. sustainable and responsible management plan. So we are saying the attraction has to have what? Management plans, and also, sustainable and responsible management plans for it to be successful. Let's just check, how can an attraction have sustainable and responsible management plans? You need to remember the following, that as much as we are saying it is a good thing for people to do travel and tourism, but we need to remember that tourism can also have negative impacts, especially on the environment. In this context, whereby we are talking about what? The attractions. Remember, when one particular attraction has to be developed, or a big hotel has to be developed, what do we need? We need land, right? So what normally happens there is that someone will just get a tender, and then they just go there and remove all the vegetation there. And then this can cause what? Can cause soil erosion, can cause flooding, and so on. So tourism requires what? More land. So this can also be what? A negative impact on the environment. So before we are building in anything, we need to make sure that for an attraction to be sustainable, an environmental impact assessment has to be done. Right. The second negative impact of tourism, it is the destruction of the natural environment, right? Destruction of the natural environment. When you go there to remove the vegetation because you want to build a hotel or you want to do a theme park, then remember there are plants and also animals that are living in that particular ecosystem. So we are disturbing their natural habitat or their natural environment, right? Due to tourism, we are saying tourism also causes what? Pollution, right? I normally divide my pollution. You've got air pollution, right? Remember the aeroplanes. When the aeroplanes are busy doing up and down, they are contributing towards air pollution due to tourism. The gases on our cars as well, they are also contributing what? Towards what? Air pollution, right? The second thing then we've got noise pollution, right? Noise pollution. When we visit, for example, a park in big numbers, what's going to happen there? We are coming there to disturb the animals, again, the wild animals in their natural environment. Tourism causes what? A land pollution. Because of tourism, people end up parking in wrong places, people end up littering, and so on and so on. So tourism increases what? Pollution. The last one, it is what? Ecological congestion causes, right? People park in wrong places because of big numbers and so on when they travel. When the park, for example, does not have enough parking spaces, then people are going to park anywhere and they are destroying what? The grass and so on. So for a tourism business to be successful, they need to make sure that they minimize their negative impacts on the natural environment. Right? Look at that picture. Is that attractive for an eye? It is not at all. But this is because of what? Of tourism. So the attraction needs to make sure that it has sustainable and responsible management plan. So now let's just check, what are the things that an attraction can do for it to have sustainable and responsible management plans. The first thing that an attraction must do, it needs to make sure that it has provided enough rubbish bins, right? When we have visited a big park, remember some people have bottled water, some people have food is with them and so on. So for them to be environmentally conscious, we also need to make sure that we have provided enough rubbish so that whoever that has litter can use the bins to put their litter there. The attraction can also make sure that it have separate bins that are provided for recyclable what material. Remember, this can also bring what an income for the tourist. Encourage people to switch off all electrical appliances not in use. Encourage people to use public transport. Remember, this is because of those gases that our cars are releasing. So when people use public transport, then we are contributing less towards pollution. Encourage the attraction can also encourage people to use friendly energy. Here we're talking about electricity. We can also make sure that we encourage people to turn off the taps properly. Remember, water is one of our scarce resources, so we need to save water as much as we can. Before you build anything, an attraction must make sure that they have done environmental impact study. They need to be aware of local resources and use them responsibly. Support local businesses, right? If we're a big tourism attraction and then there is someone who sells arts and crafts in one of our areas, how about we come and employ that person here so that they can own one of our souvenir shops so that they can be able to run a business there. Be aware of the local resources. If someone is selling fruits and vegetables, support those small businesses that we have or a small farm that we have in our area. Involve local community. That is another way in order for us to have sustainable and responsible tourism. Involve the local community. So the local community, they need to make sure that they need to feel that they are also part of the particular tourism attraction. They need to feel involved. So for an attraction to be successful, they need to make sure that it has the minimum plan of paying fair salaries or fair wages. So people must not be robbed. Employ locals as well. Remember, an attraction needs people to come there and work. So instead of hiring someone or employing someone from afar, start with the local people that are skilled, of course, and also that are qualified. Then the last one, another management plan. The attraction needs to have a plan to control mass tourism. Mass tourism, it is when many people visit a place at the same time. So you need to know, remember, we've got demand and supply again. When you have a high demand of people coming to a park, so what can you do? The park can be overpopulated. And as much as, yes, you want to generate income, but you need to have a management plan to control the high numbers. Maybe you can limit the number of people that are visiting your park at that particular moment. Then that is another management plan that you need to have. The first factor, we said, in attraction to be successful, it needs to make sure that it has excellent marketing of the attraction internationally and locally. The second one, we are saying the attraction has to have sustainable and responsible management plans. Listen to this part. We are saying without sustainable management plans, attractions can be destroyed by mass tourism, and bad behavior or uncontrolled development may lead to failure of the attraction. So if you are the boss and then by your attraction you do not have management plans, then it means that you are running a risk of losing your icon or your attraction in the long run. But now, what happens if you have sustainable and management plans in place? We are saying with sustainable tourism, the attraction will attract tourists that are environmentally conscious, right? Those are the people who always check what measures are you doing to protect the environment. So when we have sustainable and responsible management plans, then we are saying you will attract many tourists, and the more tourists come, it is the more money will be flowing into your business, and it is the more people are going to be employed, better lives and better salaries. Right. That was factor number 2. The attraction needs to make sure that it has sustainable management and responsible plans in place. This is what we're talking about again. There's a recycling station. Remember, this is for what? It's for cans, plastic, paper, and waste, as you can see there. So when we have all this, then when those tourists come and visit your attraction, they can make sure that they put all the litter in the correct spaces. Right. Then we move to factor number 3. This is one of the most important factors: efficiency and ethical behavior. behavior of who? Of staff and the management, right? Efficiency and ethical behavior of the staff and management. This has to do with morals. This has to do with values. This has to do with, remember that tourism is a service industry, right? Meaning what? People provide what? A service. So the first thing that we are saying there on factor number 3, efficiency and ethical behavior of staff and management. The first point is we need to remember that when tourists come to your place or to your business, but in this context, we're talking about what? Icons of attraction. We need to remember the following. Tourism is a what? It is a service industry, right? Hence, we are talking about here, if you check the heading, it is efficiency and ethical behavior of staff management. No one wants to be served by someone who's sloppy. No one wants to be served by someone who does not know their stories. No one wants to be served by someone who's rude. No one wants to be served by someone who's unethical. No one wants to be served by someone who steals at their workplaces or gives empty promises. So in terms of efficiency, we are talking about service. So if you know that you are going to be working in the tourism industry, you need to make sure that you up your game in terms of service, because you are servicing what? People. But we also need to remember that service is provided by what? By people. One of the characteristics of tourism is what? It's a service industry. And can you touch a service? No, we cannot touch a service. It is intangible. Can you see a service? Yes. It is what? It is an experience. Therefore, the attraction needs to make sure that it has employed people that know how to provide excellent service. This is also part of creating, right? What do you mean by excellent? My definition of service excellent, it is service beyond the expectations. So you need to exceed your customers' expectations, right? So we are saying in terms of attractions, tourists must get a complete wow experience when they visit an attraction, right? They need to get what? A wow experience when they visit the attraction. Service excellence is when the needs of the customers are met. But we don't just want these needs to be met, but it has to be what? Beyond their expectations. Why? Why is excellent service important? It makes tourists to do what? To remember how they feel about the service. If tourists feel important and valued, then what will they do? They will come back again and again. So those people who are working in the tourism attraction, they need to make sure that they are what? They are very efficient, right? The way they deal with their customers, their clients, and so on. They also need to make sure that they uphold what? Ethical behaviors. Let's just look at them, right? Look at this picture, right? This is visual literacy. Right. What can an attraction do now to make sure that its staff are ethical? Number one, you need to make sure that when you're working about attraction, you greet your visitors in a friendly and warm manner. Right? You have to be welcoming. Right? That is ethical behavior and efficiency of the staff. Right? Staff greet visitors in a friendly and warm manner. Staff are effective and ethical when they execute their duties, right? You know the importance of time. You know that you need to have morals. You don't steal. You are honest. When you said 8 o'clock we are opening, then 8 o'clock we need to be opening. Then the attraction must also do what? It must also be truthful in their advertising, right? When you said that there's a swimming pool, then when the tourists get there, they found there's no swimming pool. Then that was what? For advertising. So for an attraction to be successful, it needs to make sure that it is truthful in their advertising. They need to make sure that they practice what? Professionalism. When you are dealing with all those people that are visiting your icon or your attraction, those people who are servicing those people, they need to make sure that they adhere in terms of what? Professionalism. They show what? Professionalism. The work ethics. So the attraction, the people who are working by the attraction, they need to make sure that they show acceptable behavior, they are treated fairly, and so on and so on. There's no discrimination, there's no harassment by the workplace, and so on. The staff uniforms should be very smart. There's a clear signage in terms of directions. When people get to their to your attraction, they need to be able to see the visuals in terms of where are the toilets and so on. So there has to be a clear signage on the walls. The queues, we cannot have long queues. Then that's why we are saying we cannot be having slow people who are working there. Staff needs to deal with inquiries and visitors needs effectively. No complaints. You need to make sure that attraction has employed people who have knowledge and so on and so on. These are some of the things that attraction can do for it to make sure that their staff are ethical, they are also efficient. Right? We are saying, what do you mean by being efficient by doing right the first time? Right? If your customers are coming and say, can I leave my bag here? You need to make sure that you don't steal from them. Long queues must be minimized, right? So, especially during peak season. Now, long queues must be minimized if you want to be a successful tourism attraction. Staff must be honest. Staff must be multilingual, right? Remember, we want the tourists to come and do what? And have nice experiences. So if they come to have nice experiences and then someone from Portugal, for example, or someone from Mozambique, then they come to attraction and then you speak Portuguese with them, they are going to feel more welcome, right? So the attraction needs to make sure that it has employed people who are multilingual, right? The staff must project a good image for the business, right? In terms of ethical behavior, you need to make sure that you need to remember that wherever where you are working, you are representing what the company. You leave your problems at home, then when you are at work, you deal with work. Your uniform, the dress code, you make sure that you have ironed, well groomed, shaved, and so on, so that you can project what? A good image to your customers. Staff must be trustworthy. People cannot be coming to your hotel, people cannot be coming to your tourism attraction and then they lose things. People must be paid fairly. For an attraction to be successful in terms of ethics, the people who are working there, they need to be paid fairly, and tourists must be treated with respect. Then this is how an attraction can make sure that it has met this factor number, which is what? Efficiency and ethical behavior of staff and management. Those are the things that an attraction can do in order to make sure that it is a successful attraction. Then the last thing that I'm saying is that if the business is seen honest with the customer, then it will be seen what? Trustworthy and get what? More customers. So you need to make sure that you employ people that are efficient, you employ people that have been trained, that you also employ people that are going to be ethical. Right. Factor number 4. Factor number 4, it is positive experience of visitors. Visitors, remember, they are your tourists. So for your attraction to be successful, what must it do? It needs to ensure that it delivers what? Positive experiences. To who? To the visitors. What can you do? The attraction must do the following. We are first saying that due to the unreal nature of the tourism products, one of the biggest differences between a successful attraction and a successful one is the experience that is provided to the guests. Right? A wow experience will make your guests to do what? To come back. A guest will remember a good or a bad experience. And the danger is that they will share that with their friends. So, as a tourism attraction, we need to make sure that we do what? Every staff member should understand their role in providing what? Good experience. And that good experience, we are saying, it will do what? It will benefit what? The tourism business. Right. A guest will remember a good experience and they will also remember a bad one. The danger is that they will share that with their friends. So attraction needs to make sure that whatever services that are on offer, whatever facilities that are on offer, they are up to standard so that the tourists can be able to do what? To come and have what? A positive experience. This is factor number 4. Why a positive experience? We are saying a positive experience will add to the attractions profile. People will know you as an attraction that offers excellent service, as an attraction that offers what? Wow experiences. And the more they know your attraction, it is the more they will come again and again. We call it what? Repeat tourism. And the more they come to attraction, remember we said a successful attraction charges what? Money or fee for entrance, fee for some of the activity. And if they have received positive experience by your attraction, then it means what? You're going to be getting what? More income. Right. Remember we said we are available there on our WhatsApp line 079-578-2908. Right. We are still busy with tourism and we are looking at the factors that contribute to the success of a tourism attraction. So what can now an attraction do to make sure that the tourists or the people who come and visit it, they get what? An excellent, a positive experience. The first thing that an attraction can do is to deliver its promises, right? So they need to make sure that whatever that was advertised and promised to the potential customers, when they come there, everything has to be, it actually has to exceed their expectations, right? So the attraction must deliver their promises. The layout of the attraction from the entrance, it must allow access to all areas. So your tourists must not be limited. The signage must be clear, right? In terms of the direction, where the toilets are, where the bathrooms are, where the food court is, where the activities are, where the ablution facilities are, and so on. So there must be what? Clear signage so that your tourists cannot be asking people where is what, where is what. Right? People remember when they come to tourism attraction, they come with different cars, they come with different buses, and so on. So you need to make sure that as a tourism attraction, your car park and ride facilities are available. They must be enough, right? Remember, there's crime as well. You also don't want your people to be parking on the grass and so on. So you need to make sure that your car parks and also ride facilities are available and enough for a high number of tourists, right? For tourists to also have a good experience, we are saying, remember, you've got tourism information centers. So they need to make sure that when you go to a tourist information center, they get up-to-date information, right? So they need not to struggle when they get there. The information on the brochure, on the leaflet, and so on, it has to give them accurate and up-to-date information about the facilities or the attraction, right? For an attraction to be successful, and if you want your visitors to have a positive experience, we are saying all the facilities, they have to be clean, tidy, and well maintained, right? This is the toilet. When they go to the toilet, the facilities in terms of maybe they want to do particular activities, they need to be well maintained. The toilet must be clean, they must be smelling nice, and so on. The flooring must be clean. This is so that people can come here have what? A nice experience. The grass, the gardening for photography, and so on, they have to be clean time and again. Right. If you want your tourists to have a positive experience, the attraction is to make sure that tourists feel safe and secure. Right? People don't want to come to attraction and get harmed. People don't want to come to attraction and then lose things. So you need to make sure that you have measures as a tourism attraction that have been put in place to ensure the safety and security of your clients or your tourists. When we go to restaurants again or souvenir shops, we need to make sure that they are high standard. Everything that is offered there, it has to be of high standard or high quality. Then these are the things that an attraction can do to make sure that it has or it delivers what a positive experience to visitors. Right. That was factor number 4. We are just going to take 2 minutes break and then I'll see you just now. Right, welcome back, welcome back. We are still with Mr. Nkonyeni and we are still dealing with factors that contribute to the success of a tourism attraction. So far, we have dealt with 4 factors. So we need to move to the last 3 before we move to our activities. Then we have factor number 5, right? It is safety and crime prevention, right? Remember, one other thing that I discussed was that tourists will not come to an attraction that is not safe and secure. So if you want your attraction to be successful, you need to make sure that you have safety and crime prevention measures in place. Right. Let's check now what's the first thing that an attraction can do in order for it to make sure that it has safety and crime prevention measures. So we are saying safety is very important to all tourists. A tourism business has to ensure the safety of its clients. Why? Because an unsafe attraction can have negative impacts on the business numbers and also on its turnover or a profit. So a business must make sure that it takes into account the safety of its clients. So how can we meet this? We are saying for an attraction to meet this, it must make sure that it has safety measures in place. Number 1, the safety rules must be displayed. right? People need to know about them. Have them plugged maybe by the entrance on the corridors, because not all attractions are safe. We know that anything can happen when someone is by the attraction. So we are also saying for an attraction to be successful in terms of safety and crime prevention, what must it do? It must have a first aid equipment on the side, right? There's no need for us to be, someone may be walking around and then they just fall down. One may be doing a certain tourism activity by your attraction and they get harmed. So you need to make sure that we have first aid equipment where available on the site, right? Also, ensure that a trained personnel or safety officer is on duty to provide emergency medical assistance if there are any issues that arise. So make sure that a trained personnel or a safety officer is on duty during your hours. The stairs, the pathways, they must be clear and easily accessible, right? So remember that we also have people who have physically challenging, right? So you need to make sure that by your attraction, you have also taken this into account. Fire extinguishers must also be around. Also, the fire exit areas, right? They need to be visible so that if anything can happen by your attraction, you know that all these measures have been taken into account. You must also have a clear signage to alert your visitors of the wet floors and so on, so that people cannot get their legs broken and so on, right? So these are some of the safety measures that a tourism attraction must have. Display safety rules, have first aid equipment on the site, have a trained personnel who's going to be on duty. The stairs, the pathways must be clear and easily accessible, clearly indicate where the fire extinguishers are, clearly indicate where the exit areas are if anything happens, and also display what? Clear signage to alert the visitors of wet floors, or else you will be charged. In terms of crime, right? Remember, tourism also can also be negative and could what cause crime. In terms of what? The locals can do what? Try to take advantage of the tourists. So this is what an attraction can do to try to prevent crime, right? Have security guards on duty, right? Obvious security guards, they have been trained, they are employed there, they've got their uniforms and so on. So have security guards on duty. Use modern technology again, right? Use modern technology to safeguard their premises and also the visitors. Parking must provide for security for guests, right? Parking must provide security for guests and staff vehicles, right? People must not lose their cars when they are visiting your attraction. You must also have restrictions in terms of the right of admission. Not everyone may enter your attraction. Right? Remember, people when they come to attraction at times they also have valuables with them, their cell phones and so on. If maybe they're coming to a place that they're swimming, make sure that you have secure lockers available for safekeeping of your visitors' belongings. Also install the CCTV cameras around the camera system so that you can be able to trace people or things or to monitor anything that is happening by your attraction. Right. These are some of the measures that an attraction can do to try to do what? To prevent crime. Then we move to the factor number 6, which is the general appearance and upkeep of the tourism attraction. General appearance and upkeep of the tourism attraction. Look at this. When you look at this picture, you can see this is some of the entrance in one of the parks. Beautiful, right? You can tell that the grass, it is neat, there are flowers, there's not many people here. Look at this one as well, right? This is now tourists entering what? A particular park. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about the general appearance of the tourism attraction. General appearance and upkeep of the tourism attraction. That is factor number 6. So if you want to attraction to be successful, you need to make sure that it appeals good to us and you keep on doing all the good things to do what? To maintain it. Right. Now, what can an attraction do to make sure that it keeps its environment clean, looks attractive, and so on? Number one, we are saying the attraction is to take note of the following. A clean environment is crucial to the success of any tourist attraction. And the environment influences visitors' expectations even before the service is delivered. When you look at these pictures, you can tell this is a wild environment. There are beautiful trees, the place you can tell that it's a bit safe, it is clean and so on, it is attractive. So cleanliness it is also very important if you want to attract the tourists. The environment influences the visitors' expectations before even the service is delivered. From the gate, from outside when you are visiting your attraction, what is it that we see? How are your gardens? Do you have papers lying around? You have people who are making noise. Your trees are not well cut and so on. The place is not clean. There's papers, there's water around. No. It cannot be. So you need to make sure that the environment it is very clean. Excuse me. What can an attraction do? Number one, for it to be a successful attraction, it must keep the entrance clean and tidy. Keep the entrance clean and tidy. Right? Ensure that the bins are placed all over around the attraction. This is so that people cannot be littering and so on. The public outdoor areas must be in a good condition, right? You do thorough maintenance, you maintain your facilities, you paint where you have to paint so that the physical appearance of your attraction can be wow. Facilities must be well maintained and regularly repainted. You don't want people to be coming to your place. You have promised them that yes, at this theme park for this ride. Then when they get there, then they are told that no, this particular section of the park is not working. So you need to make sure that all the facilities are well maintained and regularly repainted. Also, the attraction must maintain excellent standards of cleanliness. This is how an attraction can make sure that it attracts what? Customers. Right, the last two factors. Considering the needs of people with disabilities, right? People normally confuse this one with universal access, but I'll talk about it at the end, right? So for you to be a successful attraction, remember, you need to remember that we are dealing with what? With many people. Some have able bodies, then some have disabled bodies, some are just physically challenged. So when they come to your attraction, you need to make sure that if you want to be a successful attraction, you should have considered all the needs of people with disabilities. So they must not come to attraction and feel what discriminated against and so on. When you look at this picture, you can see here we have what? A very nice wheelchair ramp, right? With rails on the sides. So this can be able to help someone who cannot use what? The stairs, right? We are saying factor number 7, considering the needs of people with what? With disability. So how can an attraction consider the needs, right? Let's just go back a bit to try to explain what do you mean in tourism context when you're talking about considering the needs of people with disabilities. Who are those people? We are saying people with disabilities includes individuals that are physically challenged, right? Maybe you can't walk, maybe you're on a wheelchair, maybe you have a hip bone operation and so on. But this does not mean that you do not want to experience the attraction. So how would you feel when you go to an attraction whereby you are not going to be accommodated, right? People with disabilities include individuals with physical disabilities, Sensory has to do with visuals and also hearing, right? Remember, we've got people who cannot see, but that does not mean that they will not want to experience the attraction. We've got people who've got hearing problems. So, what is it that you as an attraction are doing to accommodate them? Maybe you have audio visual so that they can be able to see. You've got earphones so that they can be able to listen as they are experiencing your attraction and so on. So people with disability includes individuals with physical, sensory, and intellectual disabilities or other conditions that requires what special care, such as frail for the elderly. Remember, the elderly as well, they also want to come and experience the tourism attraction. So when they come to you, is your place mobile? Is it easy for them to get access to your attraction and so on? So factor number 7 deals with what? Considering the needs of people with disability. So you need to make sure that as a tourism attraction, you have considered the needs of people with disabilities. Now let's check, what can an attraction do to cater for the needs of people that have disabilities? For example, right, remember we have the internet. Before people come to attraction, sometimes they may go to the internet to try to browse through so that they can see, oh, I can go there. So the first thing that they're going to be looking at is the web page. So we are saying your web page or your website must be user friendly for people with disabilities, and it must also provide information, valuable information to them, maybe via audios or some videos, right? Then they can be able to come and enjoy your attraction. The second thing in terms of pricing, remember we said you are charging as much as disabled people requires the attraction to have more facilities. We are saying it would really be unfair if you want them to pay more. So the attraction must not make people who are disabled to pay more. Why? Even if they require more facilities, right? Remember, we say they also need to feel what? Welcome, right? In terms of how accessible your particular attraction is, so you need to make sure that your designated parking spaces are big enough to accommodate people with reduced mobility and they are clearly marked, right? So there has to be a clear parking area for people with disability, and the parking spaces should have adequate space for wheelchairs, and they need to be monitored time and again. So your security personnel, they can also be there so that can be able to assist the people who are on the wheelchair. Remember, we said that the staff, they are also providing what they service. So, if you want to be a successful tourism attraction, you need to make sure that you have taken your staff to go under a disability awareness training, right? So that they can know what to do when they see a particular person, how to serve them, and so on. And they must also be trained in evacuating what? Disabled people. In terms of accessibility, we are saying entrances must be more than one, right? You cannot have one entrance. So the people who are on wheelchairs, they also need to have their own entrances. So the attraction must also make sure that they've got wheelchair ramps, wheelchairs, prams should also be available so that the people who are physically challenged, they can feel welcomed as well. Our race students, then our toilets and so on, they also need to make sure that they allow access for people who cannot see, those who are on guided dogs, right? So they also need to be catered for. Our toilets, when you visit your attraction, you need to make sure that our toilets have enough space or cubicles for people who are on wheelchairs. Our basins as well, they should have enough space to accommodate what? The people who are physically challenged. These are some of the things that a tourism attraction can do to make sure that it has met what the needs of people with disabilities. Then the last factor that we are moving to, it is universal access, which is factor number 8. I said to you earlier that universal access, it is often confused with disability. It is not really there, but we are saying, what is universal access? It is the ability of all people, right? Able bodies and disabled bodies to have equal opportunity and access to an environment. In this context, what are we talking about? Equal access to our attractions. It refers to the ability of people to have equal opportunity and access to an environment, service, or product from which they can benefit regardless of their religion, their location, region, and socio-economic status, ethnicity, their color, their gender, disability, and any other factor. So universal access, it has to do with that. Location, the place must be easily accessible. People without a lot of money, they must not be discriminated. An attraction cannot discriminate us in terms of our race. The attraction cannot discriminate us in terms of our gender or sexual orientation. The attraction cannot discriminate us in terms of any disability that we may have. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about what? Universal access, including people with babies and so on. They also need to be what? Accommodated. This is the last factor. Now let's just check, how can an attraction make sure that it meets the universal access? The attraction needs to remember that attractions attract visitors from all lifestyles. Therefore, visitors must feel welcome and enjoy all the facilities, experiences, and sites on offer, no matter their race, religion, age, or disability. That's what we are talking about when we're talking about what? Universal access. We are saying the attraction attracts what? People from all lifestyles. Visitors must feel welcome. Visitors must enjoy all the facilities, experiences, and sites on offer, no matter their race, religion, age, or disability. This is what universal access. So now, how can an attraction make sure that it meets the universal access? Number one, it must ensure that facilities are available for people who practice different religious rites. Maybe have a special prayer room, maybe in a hotel and so on, have a special prayer room whereby those people, they can be able to go and have their prayers. Have a website that is accessible for people with disabilities. Employ staff who are multilingual. Employ staff who can speak different languages or international languages. The staff also needs to acknowledge the need of different cultures and religions so that we cannot have cross-cultural tourism or cross-cultural clashes, right? You also need to make sure that as an attraction, what do you do as well? You employ people with disabilities. Also, try to improve the facilities to accommodate people with disabilities. So this is how an attraction can make sure that it caters for universal access. Facilities must be available for people from different religions. Develop a website that is accessible for people with disabilities. Employ staff who can speak different languages. Train staff to acknowledge the needs of the different cultures and religions. Employ people with disabilities and improve the facilities to accommodate the disabled people. Right. To conclude, so how do we see a successful attraction? It continues to attract tourists. It gives enough information. It provides the needs of the tourists. It meets the interests of the tourists. It is well maintained. It is safe. It charges a fee. It attracts local and international tourists. It is easily accessible, and it is attractive and inviting. Right. Before we move to a few activities, let's just recap a bit. What is it that we have dealt with? Today we have looked at 8 factors that contribute to the success of a tourism attraction. Right. Let's just now check an activity before we go home. I had to get some of the activities from the previous question papers that we have. Just take your time and try. Let's try to answer together. The first activity, please just ignore my numbering. We are saying here, the picture below shows that the attraction provides access for tourists with what? With special needs, right? What do you see? So here you need to make sure that you analyze what? The picture, right? It is for visual learners. There we have someone who's on a wheelchair. Then we also have a pram for a child. So it provides access for what? Fee, A, incorrect. Employment, incorrect. Beach, incorrect. So the correct answer there is what? Universal access. Then C, it is the correct one, right? People who are on wheelchair at this particular attraction, they will be accommodated. People who have children, right? They will be able to be accommodated. So the correct one then, it is C, which is what? Universal access. Let's check the second one. A factor contributing to a success of a SANParks. SANParks, it is South African National Parks Nature Reserve. Remember, what is it that we're looking at? 8 factors that contribute to the success of a tourism attraction. Just take 30 seconds there and try to guess the correct answer, right? We've dealt with 8 factors. A factor contribute to the success. Then what is our attraction in this context? South African National Parks Nature Reserve. A, tiled pathways at the attraction. 2, unpredictable weather patterns. C, are created by Avis Car Hire. D, brochures are available on the attraction. So which one it is the correct one? A, incorrect. B, incorrect. C, incorrect. And then the correct one, it is D. Remember, we said here, it is part of marketing. The first factor we said, excellent marketing of the attraction locally and international. So brochures are part of what? Of the marketing. So you can give them what? Those tourists, what the brochures to get what? More information on the attraction. Right, we are still waiting for your questions there on our WhatsApp line 0795782908. Please send us through so that we can be able to tackle your questions and respond to you. So this is how they can actually ask you questions on your final papers. Right, then we have another one. Remember we spoke about sustainable and responsible management plan. Then they are saying reduce, reuse, recycle are environmentally conscious initiatives that support what? Or they can say the 3 R's of responsible tourism, which is reduce what? Reduce waste, reuse what? Reuse items, recycle white waste and other items. Reduce, reuse, recycle are environmentally friendly conscious initiatives that support A, eradication of alien plants, B, procurement of local products, C, management of waste, D, impact of COVID-19. A, incorrect, B, incorrect, D, incorrect, and the correct answer there for 1 mark, it is C. But remember we said the attraction has to come up with sustainable and responsible management plan. So reduce, reuse, recycle are part of what? Management plan of what? Of waste. Because tourists, they come there and litter and so on. this activity number 3. Right, 1.1.10. Offering a discounted, right? You need to read so that you can choose the correct answer. Offering a discounted ticket price to enter the Taj Mahal, right? Taj Mahal in this context is our tourism what? Attraction. Will be viewed as a that will contribute to the success of a tourism attraction. Remember, we're just dealing with this now. Offering a discounted price. Remember, I said one of the things that an attraction can do to try to attract their customers, I said, especially during off-peak season. Remember, we've got peak season and off-peak seasonality of tourism. Off-peak, it is when many people are not traveling. Peak season is when many people are traveling, maybe when you are on holiday and so on. So, offering a discounted ticket price to enter the Taj Mahal will be viewed as a that will contribute to success. Number A, evacuation plan. No. Crime prevention measure. No. Universal access measure. No. And the correct one, it is D, meaning the discount. Remember, I said one of the factors is excellent marketing of the attraction internationally. Then I gave you tips on how you can market attraction. So the correct one there, it is D, because a discounted ticket, right? It will attract what? Tourists to enter what? Taj Mahal. So it is one of the marketing strategies to try to attract what? Tourists to visit what? Taj Mahal. I hope you are honest there at home with your answers. Then question number 4. A factor that contributes, they can give you any attraction. Doesn't have to be this one. Factor that contributes to the success of Machu Picchu being a successful tourist attraction. Number 1, it limits the number of visitors visiting the attraction. Number 2, tourists to this attraction are offered free accommodation. Incorrect. Tourists on wheelchairs. This one you need to read everything. Are not allowed. It's not a successful factor. It does not advertise. Wrong. Then the correct one, it is A. Why? Remember, we spoke about mass tourism when many people visit the attraction. So what does this attraction do? It limits what? The number of visitors. Then it is a successful factor for a tourism attraction. I hope you are getting this. The last activity, let's just read because we are almost done. This is not the attraction that we are dealing with for this year, but the information here, it is a bit relevant to the topics that we're doing. The icons in Egypt have always attracted many visitors from all over the world, right? This is another factor. We said one of the factors, how do you see that it attracts what? Many visitors. However, rising underground water is threatening to the existence of this icon. There we have a problem. The saline content in the groundwater is eroding the foundations of the ancient structures. There has been an outcry to help. So that is the second problem. The first one, the rising groundwater is threatening the existence of these pyramids. Number 2, the saline content in the groundwater is eroding the foundations of these structures. So it means what? These attractions in the long run, they can be destroyed. Now, there has been an outcry for help, meaning they're trying to do what? To solve those problems. To preserve these sites for future generations, Egyptian authorities want to implement strategies to do what? To maintain the continued success of this tourist icon. Egyptians not only value their heritage, but also understand their heritage can serve as a draw card for tourists. Right. Then 4.2.3. recommend 2 ways in which the Egyptian authorities can maintain a positive experience, a positive visitor experience despite the environmental issue. So what can this attraction, as much as we said it attracts many tourists, so what is it that it can do to do what? To try to maintain a positive visitor experience and bring big numbers. Remember, this is one of the factors that I spoke about, that a successful tourism attraction that gives what? A positive visitor experience. So what can they do? What is it that we want here? We want all those 8 factors that contribute to the success of an attraction. This question wanted you to list those factors. Excellent marketing of the attraction internationally and locally. Sustainable and responsible management plans. Universal access, considering the needs of people with disabilities, and so on and so on. So here you just have to recommend or list 2 of those 8 factors that we spoke about. Then the second last activity, right? Here they've given you, they are saying choose a picture from column B that matches the factors contributing to the success in attraction A. Write only A to F next to question 1.4. So here you just have to write what? 1.4.1 up until 1.4.5. Then you check what you have on your right. Let's check 1.4.1. Which factor did they give us? The first one is crime prevention. 1.4.2 appearance and upkeep of the attraction. 1.4.3 marketing of the attraction. 1.4.4 universal access. 1.4.5 then we have what? Efficiency and ethical behavior of staff. Then you go and check and say, oh, these are the factors that we dealt with that contribute to success of tourism attraction. Then you check what we have on your right. On column B, the first one A that we have, we've got a prayer room. Then B, we've got this globe, meaning it is universal. And then C, we've got an interaction there between a tourist and a person is employed by the attraction. And then D, we've got a recycling bin. And then E, we've got a billboard. And then we've got South African tourism there. This is marketing. And then F, we've got a surveillance camera. So now you are matching, right? 1.4.1, it has to do with crime prevention. So on your right, which picture relates to crime prevention at this attraction? Crime prevention, then we've got the surveillance cameras. Then 1.4.1, it is F. Appearance and upkeep of the tourism attraction. As you can see there, we've got recycling. Remember, recycling is for what? It's for cleaning, right? Then 1.4.2 is D. Marketing the attraction, then we've got E there. Remember, I said we've got that billboard. Universal access, then we've got B there. They are showing you efficiency and ethical. 1.4.4, we've got what? A prayer room. Remember that prayer room? I said it was for what? For universal access, meaning people from different religious background are also accommodated at this attraction. And the last one, ethical, efficient and ethical behavior of staff. You can see that particular staff is trying to help this child there. Then 1.4.5, then what do we have there? We have C. So this is how this topic can be asked there on your papers. Remember, you can try to do what? To download some of the slides on the link so that you can be able to go through them on your own. This is where we are ending our lesson for today. Remember to do what? To sanitize. Remember to practice social distancing and keep well. Remember also what I normally say is that hashtag I do tourism, hashtag we do tourism, hashtag into ingawe, hashtag this is about you. Mr. Nkonyeni was here. Thank you very much for today. I hope you've learned 1 or 2 things from me. Goodbye.